Broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co.
Welcome to episode 199 of Gun Guy Radio. This is a podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challand, and this is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. We have special guest, Zack Carlson.
It's okay, you've only known me since second grade, right? Or third grade. Don't worry about it.
Lone Wolf Distributors out in Idaho. Are you guys still in Idaho?
Yeah, Idaho.
So very cool. Great to have you back on the show. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the new products coming out of Lone Wolf this year in 2016. I forget what it was around SHOT Show. I saw something in the firearms media or some Facebook post or something, and I saw a few of the cool things you guys got in the works or maybe premiered at SHOT. I wasn't there this year, but I thought, gotta have Zack on to talk about this stuff.
So I made a whole list for later with our main topic.
Awesome. And of course, everyone tries to text me when I go on air. So let's get into the week in review. What have you been up to, Zack?
Well, this was a good week for me because I'm getting married in August, and I thought I had a little money burning a hole in my pocket, and I thought, hey, this is my last chance to buy guns unfettered. So. Actually, what we did is Ashley and I went to the shooting range last weekend, and she's been carrying my car CM9, and she doesn't carry on body. It's just she's on purse or glove box, so size really didn't matter too much for her. But she was shooting it, and she didn't really care for the long trigger pull anymore. But she tried my Glock 26 and loved it. So I said, okay. So I am handing down my 26, buying a Glock 19 MOS to replace it, and then I was shooting my carry gun, which is also a car, and I'm like, I don't really like this trigger that much anymore either. So I ordered a G43 for myself, and then the week previous to this, I only thought I was going to get one new gun, and so I bought a Rock Island Armory 9mm 1911, the 5-inch.
Okay.
Whatever tactical version or TAC 2 or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
First 1911 in a long time, and first 9mm 1911, and I like it so far. It's different. I thought it was gonna be completely different, but it's.
I really, really like the Rock Island stuff. They've come a long way from where they used to be.
Yeah, and well, the biggest thing I was a little worried about is all the distributors, they don't have the most up-to-date pictures. And I don't know if you remember back in the day, I don't know when exactly they changed it, but Rock Island had a logo about the whole width of the slide, and it was a huge logo, and it had the cannons crossed and all that. And that's just not my style. But they've recently switched to a small logo just behind the cocking serration, and that is much more palatable to me. And so that's that. I took it.
Well, and they're using a way better sights nowadays. They're using better grips, and all the way around, they're a lot better guns, I think.
Yeah, this is the TAC 2, so it has the fiber optic front, adjustable rear, and the G10 grips. And so those G10 grips, the harder you grip it, man, it just bites into your hand. So they're really nice for that. So it's a good gun. I put a link in the show notes if anyone wants to see one.
So this one says MSRP of $722. What'd you get yours for?
I ordered it through our distributor, so I got it at our.
What have you seen it for in like a good gun shop, or have you?
Well, at a good gun shop, I don't know. I saw it at Cabela's, which you may not consider a good gun shop, but I saw the same exact model at Cabela's for $650, maybe, I think.
Okay.
So I paid a bit less than that, but I would have probably paid $650 for it if I had to.
I've been eyeing the Rock Island 22 TCM. Actually, we'll get into it in my week in a review here at a little farm store that has a really good gun counter in my area, and it's the 22 TCM chambered, 1911, and then it comes with the 9mm conversion barrel. Yep. So you get both of them. I think it's about $640 for the package.
It's worth it. We have that gun here at the shop.
Oh, you do?
We have the 5-inch version, the older version that still had the billboard logo on it. The only reason I bought the one I bought was when I'm not patient enough to wait for guns to come into stock. So my distributor only had the 9mm only version in the slim grip, the 10 round mags. I don't care for the double stack 1911. It's nice to have 17 rounds. Don't get me wrong, but it's such a thin slide, then it just goes to a fat grip. And I didn't care for that. We have that version here at the shop and it's fine and it works. And that 22 TCM is amazing. It shoots laser flat. It's got no recoil and it's got a huge muzzle flash. It's really fun to shoot. I was hitting steel targets all day long at 100+ yards and it was great, but I just didn't care for that grip size, and the 22 TCM 9mm combo with the standard 10 round mags was not in stock at any of my distributors, so I just couldn't wait.
So anyways, I cut you off. What else? So you got I
got my G43, the 19
MOS.
Yeah, so I lucked out on that because if you look at distributors right now, all the Glocks are pretty much out of stock. And for one reason to that is the Glock stocking dealer programs for everybody that is part of that. They're starting to fulfill all those orders. So a lot of guns are just gone for that. And I just happened to beg and plead a little bit for it, and he found me a gun. So I have a 43 and an MOS gun 19 coming. So I'm excited. I'm not ready for an optic yet, just the money wise, but I've had them in the past on a couple guns, but when I'm ready, I'll throw it on there.
Very cool.
What did you do?
So I made for the first purchase ever for my kiddos. My oldest is 6 now, so it's time to start teaching them, how to shoot some real guns. And so I picked up a 22 Cricket rifle, the little single shot, little kid, rifle. It was like $107. Can't beat the price. And I don't know. I think it's a great little gun to start them off with. I mean, you only got one round. You got to worry about, there's no magazine or anything.
You have to manually cock it on the firing pin. Is that the one that has the manual firing or manual cocking?
I haven't shot it yet. I mean, it's got, like a regular bolt on it, but, yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize some of them were like that. So I don't know. I'm excited to get that out, try it out. It's got, adjustable sights on it and stuff. It's just a cheap little rifle, but I think it'll do the trick. I thought about doing starting out with a 1022, but I think I'll make that be like their second, step into the gun world.
What did do they know about it yet? Are they excited? Were they part of the process?
No, I didn't. They weren't with when I bought it. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing because I've been thinking about it, and the only place I knew close that carried them was Walmart. I really don't want to buy a gun from Walmart, and so I was in this farm store, and they had them, and they were $10 cheaper than Walmart. So I pulled the trigger on that. And then, of course, because I'm in Illinois and, you never know what a guy might do with a 22 kid's rifle. Single shot. I had to wait a day to pick it up, the 24-hour waiting period. But, thank God we're safer here in Illinois.
And we're all safer for it. Less people will be murdered in Chicago because of that waiting period.
Yes. So, I brought it home, and the older two, I sat down with them one-on-one and went over, this is a real gun. And like my oldest, he's like, can that gun kill rabbits or something like that? Like, yes, it can.
You got a grudge or something against the rabbit?
So, well, they know I shoot rabbits, so that's probably it. But I sized it, up to them, holding it, showed them proper way to hold it and everything. And my oldest daughter, she's probably not quite, there with the length of reach, so might have to wait a little bit with her. But my son, it fits him perfect. like a glove. So, should be good to go. I just gotta wait for a nice day. I want to wait for a pretty nice day out, making an overall good experience for them, because it's still, this week it was just nasty out. So.
Yeah, you can, for your daughter, can't you put it on either like a sandbag or a bipod or something, and just to get it supported, and just have her handle it from the trigger guard?
And I may have to do that with both of them, because it's still a heavy gun for a kid that age. So I may have to start out with a tripod. So I don't know. It's kind of my first venture into teaching a kid that young. So.
I've had Cam shoot, and he's 3. He's not interested in it, or he shot once. And he's like, okay, I'm done, kind of thing. But it's interesting, because when I had my truck, the gun rack was over the back seat, and along the ceiling. So I had my hunting rifle up there at all times. And every time he'd get in his car seat, he'd go, is that your gun? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, to shoot bears? And I'm like, yeah, that's what guns are for. Shoot bears, right? That's what he associates with it. And so every time I bring a new gun home, I'm like, hey, you want to see my new gun? And he looks at it and he goes, to shoot bears, right? And I'm like, yeah, to shoot bears, but we started young. I'm like, no, you never point it at people. And you're constantly testing him and say, hey, what do you do if this is on the table when you come home? And he goes, don't touch it. Tell an adult, and so we're trying to get that really young. And I don't want it to be a big deal for him, like a big stigma that he's curious about it. He can touch them if he wants to when I'm there. And it seems to be working so far. He's not going to go out shooting like a session or anything anytime soon, but.
Yeah. And I'm not sure my kids are either. They're not like that crazy about it. We, with their cap guns and Nerf guns, we're always telling them, don't point it at a person, trying to teach them the safety, even if they're toy guns. So, but yeah, my older 3, they're kind of indifferent. They're not like, let's go shooting, but my youngest, my 2-year-old, he's like, everything's a gun to him. He's got, the laser kitchen thermometer. He's going around shooting it. The other day, I'm working from home and I look over and he's got the toilet plunger and he's shooting. I'm like, don't touch that. Put it away. Dirty.
Yeah, that's worse than getting hit with a bullet. That's funny. That's cool. Yeah. Let me know how that goes.
So you can support Gun Guy Radio by shopping our Amazon affiliate link. Go to firearmsradio.tv, click the Amazon banners, or you can bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon and support Pro Gun Radio just by shopping Amazon. And also check out Patriot Patch Company. I've got got a brand new shirt on. You probably can't see it. It says
Nothing beats
a good old American-made classic. It's
got 2 revolvers on it.
2 revolvers. Yeah, sorry, my screen effect is messing with it. Brand new T-shirt in stock at patriotpatch.co. So if you're a revolver fan, check those out. And I just also put a bunch of the T-shirts on sale. So. Wow.
I always get reactions when I wear mine around. I like that. What's the AR one that's Safe Fire Freedom on that's a good one. You sent me some patches to give away to our Lone Wolf customers, and every time we put them on Facebook, it always gets good reaction. So yeah, cool. They're definitely going out there.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. So patriotpatch.co.
Do you shop on Amazon? How about your spouse? Does your mom? Does your company? Why not use the Firearms Radio Network's Amazon affiliate link next time you shop Amazon? Bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon or click through the Amazon link in the right-hand corner of firearmsradio.tv. Get it? Got it? Amazon it.
So the main topic this week, we're going to talk about new products at Lone Wolf Distributor. Now, like Zack said earlier, Zack and I grew up together here in northern Illinois, and how long has it been? About 4 years?
It's going on 6 years now. October 2010, I moved out here.
So yeah, you moved out there to take a job at Lone Wolf Distributors, and yeah, I was a little bit worried about you when you first got into Glocks, and then you went full retard on it.
It's crazy though. Shooting that 1911, the 1911 is such a great trigger. You cannot beat a 1911 trigger. I fully stand behind that. But I thought I was kind of all over the place with that gun, but it wasn't the gun because I gave it to Ashley and she was in a little tiny hole with it. And then I go back to my Glocks and I'm like, boom, 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 right through the same hole. So I'm like, it's just whatever you get used to. I think if I spent a lot of time with a 1911 and didn't shoot Glocks, I'd be the same way opposite. So it is what you like.
Well, so back around SHOT Show, I saw Truth About Guns did a new product review on you guys, and saw some other buzz going on. So what did you guys release at SHOT this year that everyone's talking about?
It's kind of interesting. We're not a traditional gun company that kind of holds product for the big shows. A lot of companies they might be done with a product in June, but they're going to hold it until January for a big release at SHOT. We get it out, we put it out, and we don't wait around. But we just happen to kind of coincide timelines with a new American made slide line. So we're making some blank slides that are completely slab sided, squared off. It's just basically a rectangle on the exterior, but all the interior is proper. So all the parts will fit, everything's right. But it's really intended for our OEM customers. It's so funny. I always have to just laugh when I'm scrolling through Instagram and I'm seeing, your Patriot Patch ads and everything and seeing all these, but then I see all these custom Glocks, these boutique companies and how they're ranting and raving and how they're the greatest thing ever. And I just have to laugh because a lot of those I'm selling the parts to them for. It's like, right. We always get like, hey, we get customers saying, hey, can you do this? And it's like, well, yeah, we can. That's our parts underneath there. But, it's like, that's kind of their market. They have to be able to do that. So, but we always got complaints that on a Glock supposedly is made with a 26-foot extrusion, and then they cut the slide up into chunks and they mill it from there. Right. Well, apparently
26 foot.
Yeah, like a big bar, extruded into the rough shape, and then they hack it up into smaller sections and mill them out. Supposedly, I've never seen it done personally, but that's what I'm told how it's done. The problem a lot of these companies are doing is when they go to do these crazy cuts on these slides is they're not perfectly flat and true. So the CNCs are hitting errors because it's not a flat slide they're working on. So they're having a lot of trouble. So they came to us asking for some flat slides, basically. So we're happy to oblige. So we're doing that. A lot of end users probably will never buy them because, you'd have to have kind of a machine to actually mill them the rest of the way out. But for the customers that they're intended for, they're great. But for the retail end, we're going to do like an OEM style where it kind of looks like a Glock replacement slide, but it's all made of 416 stainless steel instead of carbon steel. And we're doing Gen 4s for the first time. So,
well, and if you're like the blocky look of the Glock, you can take that block to the next level and just
to a very sharp cornered thing that will probably impale you if you try to rack the slide. But it does run. It does run. We took a video of it. We posted on YouTube. It does physically function. It has a whole lot more weight in it. So it doesn't run very fast, but it does run.
If you want to turn your Glock into a high point, you've got
pretty much
solution.
Because we had to add thickness to the inside corners because a lot of guys put those heavy 45 bevels on the corners, and sometimes with the Glock they'll pierce through that corner. So we added some meat in the inside there. But I'm just going to go down the list. Are we doing this in any particular order?
No,
I kind of just ran them off.
I just thought that bearish slide was just such a great idea because there's so many do-it-yourselfer types, and and not just doing it as a business, but also people. There's so many people that do 80% lowers on ARs, and you're kind of almost doing, and it's not 80% upper for Glock, but you're giving them that option. You're giving them the blank slate to do whatever kind of masterpiece they want.
Well, and that's exactly my pitch to all the OEM customers. It's you're no longer limited to Glock's imagination. Your only limitation is your own creativity now. So basically, they can rest assured that all the parts will fit and it'll function, right? So they're never going to go beyond that, but they can always, whatever cosmetics they want to do, they can do. So I think those would be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Great idea. Just awesome.
They should be coming pretty soon. It takes a long time for steel runs, having to buy steel, because we have to basically buy it from a steel mill when they run them in the steel runs. So yeah, that's kind of our hold up right now. We're just waiting. Every batch is 10 weeks out for steel. So it's a little bit, you have to kind of plan pretty far ahead, basically. So that's where we're at now. The other thing, we have a really cool wolf head patch. I can't say where they're made, but if you put two and two together, you probably figure it out. But yeah,
those are cool.
Yeah,
man, that company must be amazing that made those.
Look at the craftsmanship of those things. Those are great.
Look at the quality control. Wow.
Yeah, they're good. I didn't even look at them when I checked them in. I just said, oh, they counted them, and yeah, they're done. They look great. We've been working them into social media posts, showing people them because I don't quite get the patch thing, but everybody likes them. So hey, we'll do it. So those are on the website, and there's links to everything that we've got on the website in the show notes. Where can they find show notes?
They'll be at firearmsradio.tv. Just click Gun Guy Radio. I probably didn't tell you, Zach, but we combined all the websites into one. So one-stop shop for all your show notes.
That makes it a whole lot easier to manage, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and then along with those patches, I've got new hats coming that are going to be a patch hat. So similar to the one you're wearing, I guess, but I'm doing buttonless on the top, ripstop material. It'll have the female Velcro, and then behind the Velcro or in the female Velcro, it's actually embroidered. So if you don't want to put a patch on it.
It's called Loop. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that because Velcro is like Kleenex kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Velcro's trademarked. You can't say it.
Well, whoops. But so it's embroidered on it, so that way if you didn't want to wear a patch, you can still have the Lone Wolf Wolf head on it, or you could put any patch over it if you wanted to. So I've got that coming. I've just I submitted all the design work and everything, so it's just waiting for those to be done and get samples. So that's coming. And then the hope then is to expand into more patches like our Alpha Wolf line, that is the Alpha Wolf wolf head, and different kind of things. That way we could sell one hat with multiple patches and kind of make kits out of them, and then be a little more universal for us.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, hats are kind of a pain in the butt to get made. It's not easy as you would think, and to get the quality you want, the price you need, and the delivery times that you need, it's not very fun. So.
Well, yeah, I lucked out with I don't know where you're having them made, but our company, I lucked out because there's so many bad ball caps out there. They're just really poor chintzy quality, and finding the right manufacturer, that can be tough.
Our biggest problem was we wanted ripstop material and no button on top. That was our two requirements because we had it before, and then other manufacturers said they couldn't do it anymore, so we had to find a new hat. So
wow.
It is what it is, but it is. So the hats and patch will go together. And then the big one we just announced yesterday, or just showed it off yesterday, is a Battle Worn Cerakote. Are you familiar with this whole Battle Worn craze?
No, is it like post-apocalyptic?
Yeah, it's kind of future meets steampunked meets. It's really what it is. It looks like a distressed item. It's antiquing. It's antiquing for the gun guy.
You paint it at the factory, and then you slide it across the factory floor, and then put it in the box, right?
No. We have a pickup truck with a chain in the driveway back there. We just drive around the parking lot a whole bunch. But basically, it's Cerakote, so it's kind of expensive because almost all the processes in it. It's I think they use a primer coat, and then there's a base coat of color, and then they put another base coat or a secondary coat on top of that, and then they distress that coat so part of the first coat shows through, and then it's all clear coated afterwards in a matte clear coat, so it protects it all. But they look really neat. People seem to love them, so we went and did it. It took a long time to find a company that could do the Cerakote or the quality we needed to do. So we're in it now. So we have samples.
Those look really cool. I like the bazooka green with black. That's cool.
Yeah, the bazooka's cool. I've got one of our armory guys is doing another Halo gun for himself, and he's going to get that. I think he's going to get the bazooka green on it. So the full gun this time. So
wow.
I don't have any pictures of the frames yet. I'm sending frames out to get done. Also, we just had slides done to start. So
they can do the polymer frames.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, so we'll have those fairly soon when we send them out to get those done. But I'm excited about that. I think it's been a long time coming. I had some people that we get this a lot. If you've been to SHOT, people promise you that they can do these things, they pitch you on their ideas, and then you actually try to go forward with them, and you find out that they fail some step along the way. So it takes a while to find a company that actually can do what they say they can do when they can do it. So we found it, and the Battle Worn is born again. So We'll have that. And then right along with that is PVD colors. Now, PVD colors, if you look at our Facebook page from a Right Around SHOT Show, there is a picture of a handful of barrels in different colors. And PVD is physical vapor deposition, which is, you're familiar with tin, I would assume, titanium nitride. And what that is, the way I've seen it done is basically it looks like a captured electrical storm. It's a chamber that they pull on vacuum, and I'm sure the guy that actually does this would correct me up every which way from Sunday, but basically it's a vacuum chamber with parts on it that there's the recipe is inserted in there, then it turns into a plasma, and then it's electrified, and basically electrical bolts go through the air, and it somehow clings that plasma to the product in an even coat. So it actually bonds with the metal that way. And tin is the most famous one, but really PVD is the process, and the recipe of what is in there creates the colors and all the properties of the coating. So we're expanding our PVD line from tin all the way up to, there's a light blue color. There's a copper color. There's, oil rub bronze. There's like a chameleon color. There's a grayish color. There's just tons of them. So, I should have those done here pretty soon, and those should be on the website. Just keep an eye on Facebook and Instagram and all that. You'll see as soon as they launch. I'm really excited about that because I think tin is getting a little overplayed in the market. I don't know. Do you feel that way?
Oh yeah. I mean, tin is the old black. Tell me about it. No, I don't know. I'm just picturing you guys must have like a mad scientist working in a laboratory.
No, if you Google PVD process, it's pretty crazy how to see it. It just looks like a thunderstorm or a lightning storm. But the most famous one that's probably out there is like the SIG Spartan. If you Google SIG Spartan, that color, that's an oil rub bronze color. And they did all those, and they look good. I think oil rub bronze is going to be the new tin, or the copper color. There's a copper color that looks really good. One of our guys is getting his personal gun done up in that, and I will probably get a barrel done in that too here pretty soon, but we're really excited about that. We'll see how that turns out. And then where we want to go next? Slide adapters. Are you familiar with slide adapters? Do you know what they do? Have you heard of them before?
Yeah. Well, why don't you fill in the listeners?
I know what it is, but just in case they don't, you tell them. Okay.
Yeah. Tell those people that don't know anything.
Yeah. Slide adapters, what they are for us is the ability to take a compact frame, such as a Glock 19 or a Glock 23 or 32, and put a longer slide on it. Now, you would use a Glock 17 slide for a little bit longer, or you can go all the way up to a Glock 34 slide for a really long slide. And a lot of guys take a 17 and cut the grip down and put a 19 mag in it. Mm-hmm. Well, it's the same idea, but you can actually go back. There's backsies in this deal. So it's a slide adapter is a little metal object that you slide in the slide rails, and it takes up the gap that would normally be created, and it allows the guide rod from the slide that you're using to be accommodated. And then the difference on a Glock, if nobody knows, on a full size and a compact, the barrels are similar, but the lugs on the bottom are in different positions fore and aft. So if you try to put a full size barrel in a compact gun, it'll lock up on you. You won't work. So we make a compact lug barrel that's the length of a full-size pistol in two different versions, the 17 length and the 34 length. So you use full-size slide, our conversion barrel, the guide rod to the slide, and the slide adapter, and you can take your 19 frame, put a long slide on it. It looks really nice. It's almost like an officer's model of a 1911. It's kind of that theory, shorter grip, longer sight radius, because a lot of these guys that are concealed carrying, they don't care about the length of the slide as much as they care about the grip length, because that's what's actually poking out of their belt. So, we used to have a slide conversion adapter, a dust cover adapter is what we used to call them, but it only was good for certain combinations. Now we've got, I think, 3 or 4 of them that do Gen 3 to Gen 3, Gen 4 to Gen 3, and Gen 4 to Gen 4. So I'm actually gonna do one. That 19 MOS that I've got coming, I have my sample slide of a Gen 4 17 slide that I had at SHOT. I'm gonna buy that off the company, and I'm gonna put the Gen 4 17 slide on my Gen 4 19 lower.
Wow, these are really cool. Yeah, no, I was not familiar with the slide adapters, but that man gives you
It's
so
an
many
interesting
more
concept.
options.
You wouldn't think you would be able to do it or need to do it, but it opens up a lot of opportunity when you do it. So, and to go along with that, I don't know if it's in there right now, but I have our animator. We have a full-time 3D animation guy here, and he's making the installation videos of how the adapter works. So, and then what his next video for that series is going to be, it'll be, all the frames and all the slides and then the adapters, and it'll show like, oh, this frame and this slide and this adapter go together, and then this one goes together. So kind of like a visual representation of what you can really accomplish with those adapters. So,
that's awesome. Yeah.
They're pretty neat.
Very cool.
So that's one. Our G9 carbine has been updated. It's just a different look. Those, I think they actually showed up today and are getting checked in. So the back orders that are out there.
So the G9 carbine, for those that don't know,
is a Glock magazine fed 9mm carbine.
Yeah,
basically an AR-15. Yeah, it's from the magwell back, basically all AR, and from on the lower, that's pretty much it. It's just mainly the magwell and the mag release and ejector.
It takes AR trigger groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can drop any trigger you want in there.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I haven't found one that it hasn't worked with yet. I'm sure there's probably something out there that it doesn't work with, but for the most part, it's all standard. There's a lot of customer frustration with the G9s right now. We have so many on back order, and I apologize to everybody that does have one on back order. We want you to have one just as much as you want you to have one. But we are in election year, and sadly, the demand far outstrips our supply. And with this redesign, I think we're going to be back on track and get some more out. But if you wait for it to say ample stock on the website, you're never going to get one, I don't think. We ship back orders a lot, but it'll always be filling the back orders more than having enough to just have a bunch on the shelf ready to take. So, but that's that one. It's more, ability is what I would say. It looks more, I don't know. There's in that Truth About Guns article, there's a picture of one.
Well, you guys slimmed down the magazine, area.
Yeah, it's a little more petite. Yeah.
So because you're taking Glock mags now, so you don't need that big magazine well, but you slimmed it down, but it still looks like an AR-15, kind of look to it. So it's really nice.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna probably get one of these here pretty soon, if I haven't totally blown my gun budget yet. So then we covered the blank slides. Yeah. And then the Alpha Wolf barrels. So the Alpha Wolf barrels are our American made barrels. Those aren't technically new, quote unquote. We've been shipping them since right around Thanksgiving time. Funny enough, you want a little insider info on the barrels is I was not ready to launch those barrels yet. But what happened is I had put them in our catalog, which I thought I had plenty of time for it to come out. And I had it in a recoil ad that I thought, oh yeah, I got months, because the publishing cycle, old school takes a while. Well, the recoil ad came out and we had customers calling saying, where are these barrels at? I don't see them on your website. I guess we have to launch now. So I was hoping to have more SKUs done before they were officially launched, because it takes a while to get a lot of SKUs. So we had to launch with what we had. So we're constantly adding more SKUs, and I think we're going to be up to 50 here pretty soon. That's our goal. Right now, our other barrels, we've got like 157 different SKUs. So I think we're taking our top 50 to start and kind of see where we land there first. But
these all have kind of lightning cuts in them, or what do you call that?
I would call it longitudinal fluting. It's basically it's a 416 stainless steel barrel made in America with a salt bath nitride coating. It's got a fluting along the shaft. The threaded barrels come with a thread protector right from the get-go. They have beautiful packaging. They're not just in a tube anymore. They're in a nice plastic tray with a nice box, everything. They're really kind of geared towards a premium line, American made, premium. They're really meant for retailers also, because the box is ingenious that it can be stacked which way ever you want to, and then it has a pull-out tab so retailers can hang them on their shelves. themselves too, whichever way they want to do it. So, and the box is a see-through box, so you can see the product behind the cardboard and everything. So it was really intentional. And actually, this is the first time we've ever worked with an actual regular distributor. So RSR picked up the barrels. So if you already have an account with RSR and you're a gun shop or whatever, you can get them right from them without having to go through with us. If you've already got a bunch of orders with them and you just want to tack it on, no problem. So they're big. We've got a lot of positive results so far with them. I've sent a bunch out and I have not gotten any negative feedback yet from them. So I couldn't be more happy, really. Love them.
Very cool.
The only thing that I found that's kind of stinks about it for us is that since it has the salt bath nitride coating, we can't chop them down or cut them or refinish them in different colors and all that like we can do with just a bare stainless barrel. So it kind of made us really think about what SKUs we had to do, because once they're bathed and coated, they're kind of that, we can't do much with them after that, but you don't need to because they've already got the premium coating on it. So
you guys have all kinds of slide plate options.
Yeah, so these full color. So we've always done the laser engraved ones, right? So we did you could have red, blue, silver, black plates, and they're anodized aluminum, and you can engrave them. Then we stepped it up a little bit later on where we went with a 3D plate, which is actually engraving away the background image and having the foreground kind of pop out of it. That was great. Now we took it to the next level, which is full color slide cover plate. So we actually, I can't tell you how we do it, but it's a full color image on an aluminum slide cover plate. So really there's a ton of options. You can pick basically when you click the link, go to the website, there's a foreground and a background picker. So as you pick the choices, it'll pop up on screen and give you kind of a preview, and we'll ship it out then. It's pretty cool. And they've taken off quite well. I didn't think they were going to take off so fast, but so far so good.
And you can get the skinny trucker mud flap girl or the plus size trucker mud flap girl.
We prefer the name Curvy. Thank you very much.
Curvy. Okay.
I think she would too. I think, actually, I think we sell more of the curvy ones than we do the skinny ones.
I bet you do.
I don't know what that says about our customers, but hey, whatever. You like what you like, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, what else are you going to put on your Blocky Glock? All right. Move it out.
So judgmental. Slide machining. Everybody loves slide machining, right? So we did patterns 1, 2, 3, 4, which is, you look at our website, you'll see what they kind of look like. But then we've expanded into 5, 6, and 7. Basically, 5 is more like an M&P. An M&P slims out in the front of the slide, kind of has that little step down. We do that on a Glock slide, kind of gives it a completely different profile. It looks really good on a long slide. Like a 24 with a number 5 pattern looks just exquisite. It looks a little goofy on a really short slide, but on the long slides, when you get to really see that slimmed out length, it looks really good. 6 was actually inspired by one of our machinist's personal builds that he built for his like a video game themed gun, and it's got a lot of window cuts in it. It looks really nice. So we had whenever our armory guys or our machinists make these slides for themselves as like a themed gun for themselves, and we post the teaser pictures out, we always get lots of requests for it. So we figured, okay, if the work's already done, we'll expand it to all the other models and sell it. So that's where that came up from. And number 7 was the same way. It was an employee here that wanted a really radical slide, and it's a radical slide. So we have 5, 6, and 7 are brand new, and we can do those to OEMs and Lone Wolf slides.
Very cool. And then you have the custom machine compensator that you can throw on the front.
Yeah, so that's cool too. We've had a regular comp for a long time, and so we came out with an aluminum comp sometime in 2015. I can't remember exactly when we did it, but we can do it in a Lone Wolf or a Glock bullnose style, where it actually curves around the bullnose and it kind of locks up, so it looks like one seamless piece all the way out. And then we also do a flat faced for Glocks too. So with those comps, if you're getting the machining pattern under the slide, we can extend that machine pattern right onto the comp, and it ties everything together. It makes a beautiful long piece there, so it all looks like it all belongs. So yeah, those are really popular too.
I'm already filling out my wish list here. I mean,
Yeah.
I think probably going with custom cut slide number 1 with the custom compensator, and then the copper battle worn Cerakote, the copper penny.
Yeah, the reddish kind of. Yeah,
all right.
That'd be nice. Okay. Just go ahead and just tell me your credit card information right now, and I'll get that over for you.
552.
Yeah. So the next one is just a fan favorite. I can't tell you how many times we get this question. When is the Timberwolf frame for the Glock 20 and the Glock 21 coming out? And I'm happy to say that all of our 3D prints have checked out. We feel confident in our drawings and our CAD data. So it has gone into the molding process. So the molds take quite a while to make, but we are so much closer than we were even 6 months ago. So it's in the process. You should be seeing a large frame Timberwolf this year. I would assume, I hate to be quoted on any of this, but I would assume it probably summertime. So
don't place that recoil ad yet.
Yeah, don't place exactly. Yeah. Another. I learned my lesson on that one. So large frame Timberwolf. We're really excited about that. And the cool thing about the large frame is it'll be our first frame that we're making generation neutral. And what I mean by that is the dust cover area, where above your serial number plate, where the slide kind of nestles. What we did is we made the base frame a large mouth for a Gen 4. And then we incorporated a clipped in spacer for the Gen 3s. So no matter what slide you want to run, it'll run it.
Gender neutral. You're so 2016.
No, generation neutral. You heard gender neutral, but I said generation neutral.
Oh, yeah. That's not what your bathroom says there.
So if that one goes well, which I think it will, we will likely go back and redesign the other 2 molds for the compact and full size to incorporate that change also. So, and then the other thing I think we're 99.9% on this one, is we're going to make I don't know if you want to call it naked or skinny version of the frame, where it'll be smooth panels on where the normal stippling is, because a lot of guys want to do their own. We're finding more and more people want to stipple their own guns. So we made a thin one that just doesn't have anything in there, and then we have the normal stippled one. So 2 versions, hopefully, and for the guys that like to tinker, again, right with your 80% kind of guys. Yeah,
no, that's a great idea.
Have you ever seen a flush cut barrel? Before we started doing on Glocks, the only time I've ever seen it was on 1911s. And what I mean there is, on a Glock, your barrel normally sticks out, a quarter inch or so, maybe a little less off the slide. So what we can do now is we can flush that barrel directly with the end of the slide and put a really nice cone on it, or any kind of crown really that you want to do. And boy, it just looks really trick. I don't know why that little bit of a quarter inch or eighth inch, whatever it is, makes such a big difference, but it looks completely different.
Well, and I think it really looks good with your custom slides. That's where I first saw. I think you have some pictures out there with one of your custom guns with the a flush cut barrel in it, and that really just adds that extra touch to it.
Yeah, I think it looks really nice. I'm gonna, when that 19 comes in, I'm gonna put a 19 barrel in there with a flush cut on it, and it does protect the crown a little bit because it's more recessed even behind the slide. But how many people really damage their crowns in anyways? I don't know. But it's cheap to do, and we can do it to any barrel before he leaves here. So the Elf Wolf we have done it too, but it's not really meant to be on the Elf Wolf because then you lose that coating on the tip of the barrel there. But all the regular stainless barrels we can do, and it looks great. So that should be incorporated in everybody's custom slide order, I think. Might as well while you're there. What's another $20, right? $24, whatever it is. And then, boy, I feel like I've been talking for an hour already here. The complete Glock reference guide. Did you ever see the complete Glock reference guide? It's a big shop manual.
No. So it's like a car shop manual, but for the Glock.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been touted as the Glock Bible, and it's just it tells you everything you ever needed to know and how to do everything. And we really meant it for laying on the counter. It's got a big spiral bound binding so it can lay flat. You're not sitting it and pages flipping back on you when you don't want it to. What happened was we bought the rights to the company that was producing it before, Patuma Productions, and bought the company because it wasn't getting updated. We sold it, did everything. It was on the third edition for the longest time, and so but nobody wanted to update it. So we took it, bought the company, bought the rights to it, I should say, and then took it on ourselves to update everything, and it was ready to go. Whenever the 43 and the 40 came out, we had it all ready, and then it was literally like a couple days away from going to print, and then Glock announced these new models, and we thought, God dang it, we have to update it now. We can't put it out now being already behind the 8-ball. So we just had to delay the launch, update it for all the models, all the generations, everything's in there, and now it's finally here. It's out, ready to go. We used to sell a ton of them, so I'm assuming the Gen 4 version, or the 4th edition, I should say, will just blow out of here. Oh, what's next? I didn't think we had this many new products till I actually started thinking about it, and I started writing them down, and it looks like we're really busy.
So the polymer mag disassembly tool.
The polymer mag disassembly tool, we made an aluminum tool for a little while, and it sold really well, but we knew we wanted to do it at a cheaper price point. So what we did is we took the aluminum version and had it molded in a hard, I don't know if it's nylon or polymer or whatever, but it's a hard plastic. And basically what this is taking a Glock magazine apart is not exactly fun. You got to really get some leverage on it. You got to really push on that corner. Well, what this tool allows you to do is you can stick the magazine in the tool. There's multiple slots for it to sit into, and the base plate facing the tool. And there's 3 different holes in the back side. So depending on which size magazine you're dealing with, you basically just push your pin punch in from the back side, locks them all together, and then you just push down on a shelf. So it supports the whole ledge of the bottom of this floor plate, and you just push down on the table. So it gives you that little bit of space for it to click down. As soon as you break it free, then it's just a matter of sliding it off and you're done. So we did that polymer or plastic, and it is available now, and it's at a cheaper price point. We were able to do the aluminums for, so it's just as strong as the aluminum. There's no issues there, and it's great. So a lot of them, they're lightweight. If you should be taking your mags down every so often and cleaning them out and everything. So it just makes it a cinch to do it.
Yeah, for just over $12. I mean, that's an awesome little tool to have.
And there should be an animation on that, how to use the tool too. If it's not there right now, I'll launch it here soon. I've got a ton of animations I have to go approve and get launched and embedded in all the product pages. But with the tool, and then right along with magazines, we did some modular magazine extensions. So are you familiar? You may not, because you're not really in the Glocks, but Glocks have the little plastic wings on the bottom where the floor plate goes and it snaps on them. It's molded into the body, and generally speaking, almost all these aluminum or hard extensions will shear those off the mag. So a lot of these guys that are using these aluminum mag extensions, when you slide them on, they're either cutting those or deforming those tabs and ruining them. So our CEO JR, he says that's not acceptable for so what they came up with is like a modular extension. So it's a piece that goes over the top and it slips over the top of the magazine and comes down and gets caught on the rim of the bottom, and then it's almost like a hinge system. So the front kind of clicks in and then it snaps on the bottom. So the bottom kind of clicks in and hinges up to it, and then it uses a retention pin that slides through the back side or the front side, whatever. And so it locks it all together. So this keeps all the pieces intact. It doesn't damage the magazines, and it just looks really trick. It's funny, when I showed them at SHOT Show we have a lot of guys that make mag extensions, and they were looking at it and they're like, that looks like a really complicated part to machine. And I said, well, yeah, it is, but it solves this and this and this problem. And they said, yeah, that makes sense. But he's just like, we wouldn't spend the money to do all the machining on it, but we do everything low margin, high volume. So we could take that hit and not have to make a $75 mag extension. So the cool thing is, so we can machine one upper and multiple lowers and do either like a weighted base plate for competition where they can't add rounds, or vice versa, different categories, or we can go and add rounds and go all the way up to whatever category competition fits it. And it's kind of cool. So there's some teaser pics have been posted on Facebook about that, but that's honestly probably the most information that's ever been publicly released about that product. And we should see those here in the next couple months or so. A little less than that, probably.
So let's say, I think we pretty much went through all the products here, right? So
yeah, I believe so.
So
I'm sure there's more, but we're done. That's a lot. There's a lot for one sitting.
Let's say we're talking to a new Glock owner, or maybe someone looking into getting into the custom side of a Glock. Where would you kind of point them to start?
It really depends. There's a couple different kind of categories I would kind of classify people in. Is once you're comfortable with your gun and you know kind of where you feel the shortfalls are at, let's address those shortfalls first. A lot of people don't like the Glock trigger. Well, we make a UAT trigger. It's not even out here. It's been out for a little while, so I didn't put in the new product, but an aluminum 2-piece trigger that is fully adjustable for pre-travel and over travel while the gun is still together, or still the trigger is still in the gun. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but a lot of these aftermarket triggers that people put in, you can't adjust it while it's still in the frame. So basically what you got to do is adjust it while it's out, put the gun all back together. Hopefully you got the adjustment right. And if you didn't, take the gun all the way back apart. I mean, I'm not talking just slide off. I'm talking pins out, trigger assembly unit out of the gun to get access to the screws. Ours, you can actually achieve adjustment while it's still in the lower. The slide has to come off, but because there's between the locking block is the pre-travel adjustment. That's huge. It doesn't sound like much, but it lowers the frustration level of having an adjustable trigger. And I've got a really fancy machine here that tests triggers, and it's a fixture. You fixture the gun in it. It's hooked up to a computer. It's a calibrated load cell. You run it. It pulls the trigger for you. It graphs everything, weight, time. It can do trigger lock or the firing pin lock time, everything. So we invested a lot of money in to make the best trigger we can do, and that was part of it. So a lot of these guys are pulling the trigger. Oh yeah, that feels great, but that's all subjective. How do I know that's really better than this one or that one? So I've got the graphs. If you were at SHOT Show, in our booth was a printout of that program showing a stock Glock and showing ours. And our trigger adjusted properly, not to where it's unsafe, because you can easily adjust it over and be unsafe because it'll eliminate the trigger safety by that point. But adjusted properly, it halves the trigger length, basically. Because the trigger shoe will never adjust weight generally. It's going to adjust the feel of the trigger more. The weight's kind of controlled with the connector and the spring, but the trigger shoe, you can achieve a lot less travel distance, and that's a big deal for a lot of people. So the shoe for a lot of customers, it's trigger is the problem. So a connector and a spring is a cheap upgrade. Less than $13, I think it is $14. Super easy. Super easy to install. That gets you 80% of the way there. Now, if you want to deal with, my trigger it's light enough, but it's not short enough, then spring for the UAT trigger. You could do the shoe by itself for $50, or you can do the whole bar and shoe together already for you for $75, I think. So, super easy. For custom, if you want to go custom, I'd probably start with the frame. The frame makes a huge difference. A lot of people, and unfortunately, it's not the greatest internet sales item because it's one of those things that a lot of people want to touch first. And, that's where, come to a show that we're at, or find a gun shop that has one, or try to get your hands on one somewhere and, get your hands on one, and it's a big difference. And
right, and that's generally one of the biggest complaint points for a Glock is that I don't like how it feels. I don't like how big the frame is, how wide the frame is, and you guys have developed your own completely replacement frame for the Glock, and so it's slimmer and it's got a little grip angle, a little bit different, a little more 1911ish or so. Yep.
So I think what I'm going to try to do, it's a longer term project, but I think I'm going to mold frames without rails. So they're kind of just like dumb frames, but they have the right grip. And that way, if a customer says, I want to try a frame, but I don't have anyone near me, we could ship that to them, try it. If they like it, then they can order a gun and, kind of
That's a great idea. Yeah.
That's the only way I can think to do it, but it just stinks having to mold a whole frame for nothing, basically. But if that's what it takes, it's what it takes. But,
sure.
But yeah, so the frames and then the custom slides, boy, if you're going to buy a Glock, it seems like if you want any kind of multi-caliber capability, either start with a 40 caliber so you can do the 9mm conversion or the 357 SIG conversion or the 40 barrel. And we make all those barrels, but the real king of the conversions is 10mm Glocks. So like a Glock 20, you can do 5 calibers basically in it: 9mm, 9x25 Dillon, 10mm 40 Smith & Wesson, and 357 SIG. That's pretty crazy. 5 calibers out of one pistol with just a barrel swap and a recoil spring stop. Pretty nuts. So you got to be able to handle the 20. It's a pretty big frame, but it affords you a lot of opportunity there. So it really just depends. And really what I would really suggest somebody do if they have a Glock and they know they want to do something, just hop on our website and do the live chat thing. And all these guys here answer the live chat and they'll walk you through upgrades.
Very cool.
Or call us and walk you through on the phone. That works too.
Yeah, awesome. A lot of good stuff coming out. I mean, you guys continue to innovate. You
should see our whiteboard in our conference room. We have literally a 13-foot long whiteboard, and it's dang near full of projects that are there's a ton of projects in the pipeline.
Yeah, it's an exciting time. I mean, there's so many new people getting into, shooting, especially handguns, and you guys make it easy to make the Glock platform into whatever you're looking for. So that about wraps us up for the main topic. Like Zack said, all the links are in the show notes. Link to Lone Wolf website, Facebook, Instagram, everything's here in the show notes. And check it out. What's your URL again? It's lonewolfdist.com.
Yep. Short for distributors.
All right, let's get into the blog post of the week. Zack, what do you got?
Alrighty, so I picked a article from rangehot.com. You ever heard of rangehot.com? No? I'll take that as a no. I think your mic is muted, but I see you shaking your head no.
I have not. What is it?
So I was introduced to RangeHot a couple of years ago when the owner, Hunter Elliott, emailed me about some T&E products, and I have been thoroughly impressed with Hunter every time we've ever interacted with him, and just a super genuine guy, awesome, very talented. So I picked one from his site here called rangehot.com, and he talks about a handgun hideout, and I'm so jealous because I've always wanted to do this. I've even tried it with our laser engraver and with failed results, but basically it's the old idea of taking a book, cutting out the pages, and making a little hidden safe with it, I don't know how these guys are cutting them so cleanly. I'm assuming it's some sort of hydraulic press or something that makes such a clean cut. I don't know if you have any insight in how they actually do it, but he got one that was a dictionary, and they glue the pages together, but it's the little things that they left the corners unglued. So if somebody came and just kind of flipped through the pages to see if it was real, it still looked legit. And they use a real book instead of, like one that just says book on the spine or something, like a cheesy dollar store type thing. But, I thought it was interesting. He's got a bunch of pictures where different guns fit in it. And, I think I would like to have one if I didn't have kids roaming around where they could get into it accidentally, but it's pretty cool. So, rangehot.com, and, Hunter Elliott wrote up the article.
Yeah, I think you're right. It must be some kind of hydraulic press with a cutter head on it.
That's the only thing I can think of. Or a water jet maybe. But
I don't know, get it all wet.
Well, a water jet comes out so fast that I don't think it actually makes the stuff wet, does it?
I don't know. I don't think you could do that with paper. Really?
Well, they cut all the foam for gun cases with water jet. I know that.
That's foam. I mean,
you don't want wet foam either. Yeah, I don't know. But I know I tried it with a laser engraver, and all I did was I burned paper. So I really tried my best too. I tried all these different settings thinking I could do it, and it worked, but not super cleanly like that. So bravo to them for getting it done right. What is yours?
No, that's really cool. So I'm really digging these I don't know, they call them, the one I linked to is an M1 Grand run and gun. It's run and guns that the Firearm blog does with all these different battle rifles. And it's just really entertaining, watching someone take this, piece of history and run it like they would have, potentially in combat, trying to, advance forward on your target while hitting your target and reloading as fast as possible.
I think he only missed once, didn't he? In that video that's on there? I
think so. Yeah. I mean, I think I can't even imagine how hard that's got to actually be. I mean, especially for the one I linked to, the M1 Grand, where you got to careful not to get your thumb locked up in the gun and stuff. But it's really entertaining videos that the Firearm blog runs. So check out their run and gun videos. They've got quite a few of them, and on some pretty obscure rifles as well, which is really cool.
I forgot how loud the clip coming out of the Grand was. Just that zing noise. I forgot how loud it was.
But cool stuff. So check out those links are in the show notes. Just real quick here, we have an announcement. The Stone Mountain Machine Gun Shoot is coming up here in the end of April and the 1st of May. So if you're anywhere on the East Coast, anywhere in New York, Pennsylvania, this is in Monroeton, PA. It's in the northeast part of Pennsylvania. So if you're at all in the northeastern part of the country, please consider driving out. It's supposed to be a pretty cool setup with machine gun range that you can rent machine guns to shoot. And then they have a whole dedicated silencer range too, where you can, see how quiet the different silencers are, and all the big silencer companies are going to be there. And, the Firearms Radio Network will be there. Patriot Patch will be there. And they also have cool stuff like stages that you can, run your gun on, where you can shoot from a zip line. You can shoot while spun upside down, like different Top Shot scenarios.
I say it's like Top Shot.
Yeah. So it looks pretty fun. So I hope to see you guys out there. I'll be there. So stonemachinegun.com is a URL for more info. April 1st, April 30th, May 1st. That's, the last, Saturday in April and the first Sunday in May. So a good 2-day event. So it should be a lot of fun.
So how does this work? I see they have a general admission price, but who pays all this ammo, and do you have to? How does this all work?
So there's going to be ammo vendors available on site for you to buy your own ammo. I think the different machine gun vendors, you can buy so many rounds from them to run through the gun. So stonemachinegun.com for more info. And there'll be a place for you to shoot your own guns too. So
that's cool.
So and we'll have the different Patriot Patch patches and t-shirts out there as well too. So you guys can, touch them before you buy them, kind of thing, if you want.
So that means you'll have gas money to get back home?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm only going to be able to fly Ryan back to Seattle if we make enough money.
Yeah.
I bought him one-way ticket out, and he's like, how do I get back? I'm like, well, you guys sell product to get back, buddy.
How many patches can you carry around?
So
motivation it's a good motivator.
Right. So, check that out for sure. And patriotpatch.co makes this program possible. And also check out Ryan Cross, Hunter Design. If you need any artwork, website design, business cards, letterhead, anything like that, Ryan can help you out. Pro Gun, graphic designer, hunterofdesign.com.
Badges! We don't need no stinking badges! Ha ha ha! Oh, you meant patches. Yeah, I'd love me some high quality patches. Where? Patriot Patch Company, you say? Vámonos to patriotpatch.co. Whoa! You say they have t-shirts too? Vámonos to patriotpatch.co.
Gun Guy Radio says thank you and proudly displays artwork and graphics designed by Ryan Cross of Hunter of Design. hunterofdesign.com.
So that about wraps us up. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, leave us a review there, and please consider joining the NRA and the Second Amendment Foundation. And don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows here on the Firearms Radio Network.
Can I make one more selfish plug?
Go for it.
I just got my real estate license this week. So if anybody in Washington State, Spokane County area would like to buy or sell a home, contact me.
If you need a pro-gun real estate agent.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, that's neat. Congrats.
Thank you.
If you have a shooting range to list, look up Zack. Well, thank you, Zack. Really appreciate you coming on the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And that's a wrap. We'll see you soon.
Hey, since you're already listening to a show on the Firearms Radio Network, then you should check out the God and Guns podcast. Troy and Doug talk about guns from a Christian perspective and, of course, God. GodandGunsPodcast.com/iTunes. Subscribe now. This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.